China has called the US seizure of oil ships linked to Venezuela a serious violation of international law. The US military is currently pursuing a third ship in the Caribbean after taking a second vessel over the weekend. Caracas says the seizures are theft and kidnapping. Washington says Venezuela is using oil money to fund drug crime. The latest comments from Beijing come after China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi accused the US of engaging in unilateral bullying. Well, our correspondent Nick Harper is in Washington. Nick, what do we know about the US Coast Guard's pursuit of this ship?
Well, Jeff, our understanding is that that pursuit is still ongoing after, on Sunday, the US Coast Guard tried to board the Bella 1 vessel. However, it refused to stop. It turned around and essentially fled, and that led, the US said, to an active pursuit. Now, this is a ship that was previously used to transport Iranian oil, and really the US is accusing Venezuela of using this ship to evade sanctions, to transport oil, but they also say that it was flying under a false flag, and that, therefore, the US says allows it to board the vessel in international waters under international law. Now, the Bella 1, we know, broadcast various distress signals, dozens of them, to other ships in the area. But over the weekend, the US also managed to seize another ship, that one called the Centuries, also carrying Venezuelan oil. And remember, earlier this month, earlier in December, the US managed to seize another ship. So far, the tally is 2 seized ships, and this other one, the third one, still in active pursuit of that one to try and get it under control.
Now, Nick, Trump and his war secretary are making an announcement soon, we're hearing. What are we expecting from that announcement?
That's right, we're expecting that later on this afternoon from his Florida residence, Mar-a-Lago. Important to note that it's Donald Trump standing alongside his Secretary of Defense or Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, but also they will be joined by the Secretary of the Navy as well. It's not clear what this announcement will be. There are potentially a number of issues circulating. It could be an update on the recent strike against ISIS in Syria. It could be an update on the Russia-Ukraine talks over the course of the weekend in Miami. But the very fact that the Secretary of the Navy will be taking part in this announcement suggests it's more likely to surround the issues with Venezuela. Of course, we've got this enormous pressure campaign against the president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro. We've seen this intense pressure really to cut off his revenue streams, the revenue stream being Venezuelan oil. We've seen a blockade around the region and also the deployment of US assets to the region. Now, up until now, the US has suggested this is not about regime change, but the US, Donald Trump, has suggested that he could carry out strikes on land, not just carrying out strikes against alleged drug smuggling boats or seizing oil tankers in the region. And that has prompted many lawmakers here in Washington really to question what come next, the significant concern that all of this could lead to war. We're waiting on that announcement. We're waiting to see what exactly it will be, to what extent it could be, but the likelihood is it will be targeted against Venezuela. Jeff?
Nick Harper, live in Washington, D.C. Thank you for that.